Hey guys, HuzzyGames bringing you another video. Now, welcome to the start, well, technically of Season 12. Obviously, the new rank season isn't officially here until Friday, but the patch notes are. Not massive patch notes in terms of, like, champion changes, but there are some bigger changes within. But before we get into anything else, something that's just dropped publicly in the last, well, couple of hours, about an hour by the time I'm recording this, but I thought I'd mention it just in case you're not big into social media or whatever. I just like to show the new champion. So this is Zeri. I'm sure I'll be doing a full video on her when Riot give me all the abilities and that, which should be pretty soon. But she's the AD carry. So she's the AD carry that has the unique mechanic. We don't know what that mechanic is, but she is the spark of Zorn. So, you know, Riot is still very in with that kind of Zorn world. I'm guessing it's going to be some type of aimed auto attack, but I'm not completely sure. She has like a gun in one hand and like lightning coming out of her finger, so there might be magic going on with technology there. But we'll do a full video as we always do when that happens. And she looks really cool. The only thing I will say, I can't unsee it. Does anybody else see the old lollipoppy in her face? I'm sorry, I had to say it. I've now probably cursed that champion for everybody. But anyway, let's get into it. It just went down the wrong thread. Oh god, help. Alright, so anyway, we have this. So as you can see, hardly any buffs and nerfs, which I would say is a little bit worrying, and I've also just noticed it's a little bit off. So let's do this, and there we go. But it's a little bit worrying that there's not many changes champion-wise. There are still very strong champions in the game right now. Vayne is still very much kind of crazy. If Riot themselves, which are like, we go off data, well, by their own parameters, I'm pretty sure Vayne, Kassadin, and potentially even Victor, and I know I play Victor, but even he, parameter-wise, should be getting nerfs, and he's not. But anyway, nerfs to Rek'sai Sona, buffs to Diana, Gangplank, so my boy Gangplank getting buffs. We have some new things, which are the ranked visual update, so this is the loading screen update. It's obviously part and parcel of the customization that's going to be coming in the next couple of weeks or months, that you're going to be able to customize your ranked profile and your league profile a lot more. These are just the new icons for the ranked element of that. We have Elderwood Rek'sai, who's also getting nerfed. Well, that's really rare. A nerf is happening of a champion that's getting a brand new skin. That hardly happens. And Elderwood, nah. We're getting system changes to Eclipse, Force of Nature, Shieldbow, Wit's End, and the big one, Teleport. So yeah, worth also noting that these skins are available on January the 6th. So let's just get into the champion changes. Again, nothing insanely crazy, but Diana is passive AP ratio and monster damage ratio increased. So this is a buff. The AP ratio of the passive is now 50%, and the monster damage is going up to 300%, up from 250. So the passive of Diana is every third auto attack you get the cleave, bigger auto attack that does AP damage. So that is going to help a lot with jungle clearing. So clearly that's what Riot wants her to do, because this is it's a double buff really, because well, for jungle you're getting a higher ratio damage and it's going to scale better off AP. So that's pretty spicy. My boy Gangplank. So oh, interesting. Okay. Ooh. So Gangplank's Q is a very, very heavy mana cost spell. There are some Gangplanks. I personally don't really do it, but there are some that buy tier just for lane phase. I think some Gangplanks may even buy mirror mana. I would never, but some Gangplanks do buy tier just for lane phase. They sell it when they're out of lane phase, or when they have an Essence Reaver or whatever, like their mana would be able to cope with then. But then Gangplank's Parlay is not as powerful in lane after Grasp was nerfed on him, true. So we're letting him use it more often. So the Q mana cost itself is going down by 5 per rank, and the cooldown of it is going down by half a second. So very tentative buff here. I would say Gangplank is in an okay situation. Again, the stats may not say that, but again, not everything is stats. Gangplank is a very hard champion to play for the average league player. So he is a champion that is you get rewarded the more you play him and the better you are with him. So for decent Gangplank players, this is actually a really nice buff. For average Gangplank players or bad Gangplank players, it's not going to make a big difference. It's still a really hard champion to pull off. So I think that's okay. I do think Gangplank's damage can go a bit nutso, since they did like the crit on the E and everything. So a tentative buff I think is fine. Rek'sai, I am seeing Rek'sai, I will say, from time to time, but the fact that Rek'sai is getting nerfed over, like, Talon is a bit surprising to me. Like, Talon's still in nearly every single game, where Rek'sai is not. But anyway, unburrowed E damage adjusted and burrowed E cooldown increased later. So the Furious Bite, which is obviously when you're out of, like, underground, it's the kind of just bite thing, in, like, just instant burst damage from E. The physical damage of it is going up, and that's it. Oh, wait. Oh, interesting. It's going up early, down late. Oh. So it's starting at 55. It used to start at 50, but at maximum rank, 90, 75. The AD ratio is staying the same, but that is a bit of a nerf. Okay, interesting. And then the tunnel is going 26, 26, but then in late game, 14 seconds at rank 5, which is, again, a big part of Rek'Sai's mobility of, you know, being able to get around the map. 18 seconds at rank 5. Again, Rek'Sai, I'd say in the hands of a good player is strong, don't get me wrong, but I still think Talon is much of a bigger problem. There was an idea that someone had, I think, on Reddit the other day, but I think there's a lot of Talon players on Reddit, that some people were saying, like, why wouldn't you do Talon E, kind of like a Gangplank barrel or an Azir soldier, that you can only hold so many jumps at a certain time. Like, maybe you can hold 3 jumps to go, or like a Heimer tower, that once you use a turret, it starts recharging for the next one. You can hold up to 3. I actually think that would be quite healthy for Talon, because he is unhealthy with how much mobility he has. The defense that a lot of people were, at rank 1, it's 180 second cooldown for that jump to come off cooldown. Great. But he can still go around the map in basically, like, no time at all, then go back, and then by the time he's done that all, it's back off cooldown, and that's about it. Like, it's really strong. Like, and people also was like, oh, what about Kayn then? Yeah, I think that's strong too. Like, those 2 champions in the current jungle, I would say both have way too much mobility. I don't think Rek'Sai's as big as a problem as those 2 champions, yet Rek'Sai's the one here getting nerfed. It's a bit weird, but it is what it is. And then Sona, so armor growth reduced and E cooldown increased. So Sona in really high rating has been going well. I still don't rate this champion amazingly well in solo queue. If you're in a duo and you know what you're doing, or you're in pro play and you build a team comp around it, sure, Sona does scale really well. Everybody knows that. Her healing is good. Her damage is actually not bad. Gives movement speed, has good CC. There is a good list of what Sona can do. It's just in solo queue, where you may not be in perfect sync with your AD carry, and you're very squishy as Sona, the amount of times I just see a Sona hard feeding is more often than not. I will often see a Sona do really badly than see a Sona do well. And this isn't exactly going to help, because it's not much, but her armor growth, so armor per level, is going down. So that's going to make her slightly squishier, technically. And then the cooldown of her E, which is the movement speed one, if I'm not mistaken, is going up. So it's a flat cooldown, 12 seconds all ranks. It's now going to 14. So a 2-second nerf across all ranks. Not really sure, like, personally, I'm kind of weirded out when an ability has just 1 cooldown across all 5. Like, I think scaling cooldown makes sense, but apparently they're not doing that. Maybe that'll be a change in the future. But there is Sona. That is what it is. Items. Eclipse. Despite being weak overall, Eclipse was the strongest lethality mythic before preseason. We overdid its buffs a bit in 11.23, so we're partially reverting those. This change also applies to Ornn's items. So the ever-rising moon cooldown for melee is going up to 8 seconds of use of when you can use it. It was 6, it's now 8. So it's just toning it down of how often you can proc the item, which is good, I guess. Force of Nature, which some people have pointed out, it's a bit weird that it's getting buffed because the item itself is actually quite good. It's just a lot of people aren't buying it. So it might make the item too strong. Absorb stack duration is going up to 7 seconds, and the dissipate magic damage reduction is going up to 25. So a very strong magic resist item that's just got better. So I do see more people building Force of Nature, and it's the type of thing that there are some changes that Riot do, and they will admit this themselves. They've done it when Akali was really overpowered, that they make a change full well knowingly they're going to revert it a patch later or 2 patches later. They did this with Akali, that basically the community got in such a hatred circle about Akali and the developers about Akali that they didn't actually think she was a big problem. It's just the community thought she was. So what Riot did was nerf the champion quite harshly to the point that she was beyond weak, really weak. But they fully intended the next patch or the 2 patches later, they already knew when they nerfed it, they were going to buff it straight back. They just needed the community to calm down. This could be the opposite effect of that, of the item's actually pretty good. We know it's good, some people know it's good, but no one's building it. So let's make the item really strong to make people realize it's good and it's a nice item to have. But we'll nerf it in a patch or 2 when people have realized, oh, you should actually be building this item. It could be that. Shieldbow. So Shieldbow, I would say, is quite obnoxious. The weird thing, it's not exactly obnoxious on the champions that are supposed to build it. I don't mind an AD carry having a bit more survivability in modern day League. Like, one-shots are happening everywhere. If this item can save a squishy AD carry in late game, great. Like, it just gives them a bit more chance in a game that they can always get one-shot in. The problem with this item, and by the way, it's down here, is like Yasuo, Yone, it's Viego, it's the champions that you not typically would imagine would be building this item. It's melee champions a lot of the time are more the problem. But what it looks like they're doing is they're nerfing it as a whole. They're not nerfing it just for AD carries, they're just nerfing the item, which I don't know if that's the way to go, but anyway. Immortal Shieldbow has made some marksmen and fighters a bit too immortal. I will say maybe an exception to that is Vayne. Maybe Vayne is a bit too crazy with this item. We're bringing it down a bit, so there are larger trade-offs to consider when comparing it to other marksman mythics. It also, obviously, the Ornn item is being affected also. So it had 55 attack damage, now 50, and it had its shield, which was it 360? It's hard to tell with the line through. I think it was 360 or 300. I think it's 300, actually. 300 to 800 shield based on your level. It's now 275 to 650. A much smaller shield at level 18, 150 less. That is considerable. 150, sometimes a Viego is so close to death, that 150 shield that Immortal build, that Immortal Shieldbow could give, that could be the difference of a Viego dying or not dying, taking someone's soul, and then killing everybody. That is partially the difference. So that's okay, but maybe just Vayne herself deserved a nerf, and maybe they should have changed this for melee champions and left it for other AD carries, because other AD carries who need this item aren't crazy strong. Like, they're not. So, I don't know. Wit's End, again, another staple item for so many champions. It's arguably become a little bit too strong. Wit's End, and I will say a lot of the champions that buy this also buy this, and they're both tanky, attack speedy, AD carry centric items. And obviously, again, not always it's an AD carry buying Wit's End. It is a Viego, or it is a Jax, or someone who can use this item that is quite strong. But Wit's End has been powerful as an early defensive and offensive option for attack speed champions. However, considering it's a threat as a DPS item, its build path and stats counter magic damage a bit too high, a bit too much in the early game, too early. So what they're doing is changing the build path, and all that's doing is making the magic resist go down. So the build path is changing a bit. So you still get the Hearthbone Axe, same cost. You still, instead of a Negatron, you actually can buy a Null Mantle. So that's actually cheaper, I think. Yeah. But then the trade-off is, instead of getting a Longsword, which is really cheap, it's a pickaxe, a much more expensive item to get to. So it's delaying the power spike of getting the components of this item. But then the overall cost of the item is unchanged. It's just the components cost a little bit more. But, like, what this means is there are some champions, let's say Akshan, he can rush a Wit's End in mid lane, and having that little, say he has the old completed items, Axe, Negatron, and Cloak. Well, now he wouldn't, these three. Let's say he has the Hearthbone Axe. He can get the Null Mantle because it's cheaper than Negatron. Well, there's a trade-off between, is he going to get the Null Mantle or is he going to get the Pickaxe? Because this is cheaper than Negatron, but Pickaxe is more cheaper than Longsword. So he can make a decision of, I get a bit more damage early game, but I'm squishier because I can't afford the Null Mantle, but I need the more damage. Or the trade-off is I want the opposite, where before it was probably a bit too tanky for its own good early, and that's also being shown in the magic resist nerf for the item. So I think it's overall healthy. It is a very, very strong item, and it's still going to be good. You'll still build it, but yeah. The big one, teleport. So the title of this video is probably like, is teleport going away? Now that is the big question. Is teleport going to go away? And I truly believe partially it will. And I will also say, I do also think this is another one of these changes that Riot is doing with the intent to change it down the line. Now, they may not change it next patch. They may not change it even 2 patches. Hell, they may even give it like 3 months. But basically what's happened in League is people have become overly reliant on teleporting out of their own lane always into bot lane. Like, that is just what League has become. In the last year, it's top laners, mid laners, literally I have seen into 3 minutes into a game, they are teleporting to bot. It has got a bit crazy. It's too much. So what they're doing, in essence, is just trying to snap the community out of that mindset. It's the same, like I said, with the Akali thing earlier. Sometimes you just need to make a big change, a shock change, like make Akali really, really bad, so the community stops thinking of Akali that way. They're going to make teleport a lot less useful to stop the mindset of everybody instantly going, teleport to bot lane, let's go. They're going to try and change that mindset. And maybe after the mindset has changed, then they can kind of revert it back. But let's see. So what they are saying is, while League of Legends is indeed a team game, it generally evolves in phases. As the game progresses, you interact with your team more. It's supposed to be early game, mid game, late game. We've said that, and early game has in essence disappeared. So lane phase lets you flex your individual skills, but it also needs some outside influence to keep things from getting too predictable. However, right now, there's too much disruption happening too early and too often. This is especially the case with frequent teleport fights in bot lane. I've not read this before, but that's what the meta's become. And this isn't bad for bot laners only. Top and mid players also lose out on the ability to express their laning skills in the same way. How often have I played in League in the last year, and I do hope people like Huz has said this, that I'm laning against a Katarina in mid. Let's just give that example, that I've not loved Katarina this season for this very big reason, that I'm laning against Kat, I'm playing a mage, which I always do, and I'm like, she's never in mid. She's always in bot. She's teleported bot again. Oh my god, I'm alone in mid. It was so frequent, it became annoying that I now ban out Katarina every single game. It just annoyed me, especially the champions that can just go TP Ignite. That was even more annoying because they don't get punished for not having flash or anything. So Riot is, again, if this is Riot Axe's doing, the new head of balance or whatever he is, lead producer, I'm really happy because it does take away that I, as a mid laner, want to fight in lane phase against my opponent in a 1v1. And if they're never here, well, I can't do that. So it kind of, yeah, it was a bit boring. So blah, blah, blah. Currently, it often feels like bot lane gets decided by outside influence and mid and top gets decided by the influence they have on bot lane, rather on how well they play in their own lane. Literally of what I've been saying for like a year. This is fantastic. Oh my god. Teleport also tends to crowd out other summoner spells because when wielded properly, the flexibility offers both safety and high-level game influence. It's really high. So today, you can use it quickly to get back to your own lane and farm, but you also can use it to intervene in other lanes. In an effort to bring back some balance, we're reshaping the spell by tempering its offensive capabilities early and then upgrading it later on to retain its exciting mid to late game impact. I would just say straight away, I love this change, if that's not obvious. I do think it's going to bring back individualness to both mid and top, and hell, even in bot. Like, they don't have a mid laner teleporting in at 3 minutes, so it's going to be more about top is against top, mid is against mid, bots against bot, and then you have the jungler making the impacts. That is what League has always been. I think it just got a bit too out of control teleport, so this is good. So the teleport cooldown is now 360 seconds on all levels. So it's actually a small buff right in the early game, because it used to be 420, but it's a big nerf for later game. But caveat, teleport can only be used on allied towers. Once tower plating falls off at 14 minutes, which is usually the indication that lane phase is over, it's now mid-game, you can now use teleport to go around the map. Teleport transforms into Unleashed Teleport, which can target allied towers, minions, wards, and certain allied constructs. Examples, Thresh Lantern, Jarvan Flag, Zac passive, that type of thing. But then the cooldown of Unleashed Teleport goes back, well, not fully down, but to 240 seconds. So just over, well, 3.5 minutes. at its lowest cooldown before was 3 minutes. So it's still a 30 seconds nerf overall of the older teleport. But then you have the new teleport. Like, you have the exact same thing. But it takes 14 minutes for it to happen. Now, again, I'm happy with this because it's going to bring back more individual skill to the lanes of League. But I will say, I don't think teleport will fully die. I think there's going to be a lot of champions that now will not take it. Probably a lot of mid. I can see a lot of mid laners no longer take teleport. Top lane, however, I still think it's going to be relevant in top because top lane is the island lane that typically you always just teleported back to top lane and continued fighting your 1v1. So I still see a lot, if not the majority of champions in top, still take TP. What this partially might do, maybe, it could cause a bigger separation of the champions that don't have to take flash. So the top laners especially that can go TP Ignite aren't going to be punished by this too much because they don't have to make that decision of, oh, do I go teleport this game or do I run Ignite top? They don't have to make that decision. They run both and they don't get punished by not taking flash that much. Jax doesn't, Camille doesn't, there's a few. Gwen doesn't really. So that's my only potential, like, oh god. Like, there are some champions that I think, you know, is going to be a bit on the fence. Do you take Ignite on Shen now? Like, some Shens still take Ignite to this day. So do you take Ignite on Shen because you have your ultimate that you can teleport anyway? But the problem with that is you, historically with Shen, when you take TP, you ult down to a fight and then you can teleport back to top. So then you'll lose that ability in the match. But this is going to maybe make a big gap in especially top lane. And I do say that as someone that's going to play more top lane in this season, of that massive decision of, do I play TP this game? And it's probably going to win or lose games. It truly is. It's going to be a really big thing for quite a while. And what could happen, the meta of the game often dictates what the majority of people are going to do. So if the majority of people and pros and everything are like, teleport's bad now, everybody run an offensive spell in top lane, well then no one will take top. It will be very rare for people to take TP. But then if pro play and higher rating play and the majority of players are like, oh no, I'm going to still take TP top, it will just be a standard thing just to go TP flash on average, and it won't affect top much. Again, I do think this is going to affect mid lane more than any. I do think, yes, there are some top laners that were TPing to bot lane, but I think the biggest offenders were the mid lane, especially the mid lane assassins. They literally didn't care about laning. They didn't. And that, by the way, is subject also to how strong the new items are. Back in the day, if you got really far behind and you fell an item or so behind, you really got punished. Nowadays, with how strong just getting a mythic is, it's not that bad if you get behind. It just isn't. The items are that strong. Or like your initial item is that strong. Anyway, moving on. So we have Ranked Season 2022. Now I am actually I'm very interested in the starting time to this because there's a cinematic on the client right now, and for that timing, it would be 3 p.m. for me. I really hope it's not 3 p.m. because, and it doesn't look like it is, I think it's 4 a.m., which is good. Thank God. Because I'm going to, on Friday, upload Placement Game 1 is going to be the first video of the day. The same day I play that game, it will be the first video of the day. So it's a big rush for me to play the game, get it edited, get it ready to upload, and as soon as I finish streaming, get it uploaded, get it gone, you know, straight away. But let's see what the official time. So make sure, obviously, you check yourself. But here we are. EU West 1, Europe London, 4 a.m. January 7th. So again, that is officially Friday, January 7th, 4 a.m. So when I start streaming at roughly 11 a.m., the ranked season will be fully ready to go. That's good. So it's basically wherever you are in the world, it's 4 a.m. in the morning on the Friday. Pretty much that simple. Which is good. This also marks the beginning of Summer Rift Ranked Split 1. The exclusive rewards for Split 1 are Vex stuff. So you get Vex stuff. There's that. Yeah, again, I still think they need to do a rework of the rank split stuff. It doesn't mean anything. I genuinely thought they were going to do like a little soft reset in the season or do something more than just like have some rewards. I don't know. Anyway, we're also getting an update. Oh, sick. Oh, that's nice. I like that. Oh, yes. So I am hoping to get a bit higher rating again this season. And one of my biggest complaints of when I was up in like master area, the amount of pressure you have on you to keep playing that you can't even have a holiday, it sucks. Like, it just does. Like, just straight up, you get punished for having a holiday. So what they're doing is making it a little less crazy. So when you hit Apex rank, which is Master, Grandmaster, Challenger, you have banked days. So maximum banked days used to be 10 days. I think that was even maybe less for Challenger, but maybe it wasn't. But basically, you could have 10 days banked at any given time. And if you don't play for 10 days, you'll then get decayed. But it doesn't work the same as other ranks do. So in Diamond, I think Diamond still decays. I don't think Platinum does anymore. Basically, Diamond decay is not changing this season. So Diamond is still the same. Everything below Diamond, you don't decay anymore anyway. But in Diamond, if you don't play, you decay every 28 days. If you play and you're like, you've got 1 day left till decay, you play a game, it'll reset back up to 28 days, I think. Maybe. Or is it 7 days? It's something like that. Anyway, what is different when you're in Apex rank is you only get a day banked per game you play. So if you have 10 days and you go down to 1 day remaining, you play one game, it doesn't go back up to 10 days, it'll go up to 2. So you actually have to play 10 games to get back up to 10. It's a bit nuts. So when you get back from a vacation, you've got to spam rank games to get back up to your banked days, just in case, because you never know what life's going to throw at you. You might just need that week off here or there, and if you don't have maximum banked games at all time, you're probably going to just get demoted sometime because you can't play. So it's going up to 14 days, and also it's going to be less crazy. So you literally decayed 250 LP per day. That is 2.5 tiers of rating a day in decay. So you could be 1,000 LP Challenger and you're decaying at 250 LP a day. If you're averagely gaining 20 LP per rank, that's 25 games, no less than that, whatever it may be, that amount of games, a crazy amount of games that you're losing LP wise per day. So they're lessening it to 75 per day. And they're also, however, and this is the problem, Apex decay floor is going down to Diamond 2. So I think this means, and it's not 100% clear to me, is when you're like in Master or Grandmaster or Challenger and you get demoted out because you're inactive, I think you just got demoted to Diamond 1. Well, now it seems because they're being a little bit more flexible, you're giving more days, we're decaying you less, you will actually go down to Diamond 2 now. So that, I don't know if that means, does Diamond 1 have this decay rule as well? Because it's a bit weird if Diamond 1 doesn't, but you're a Master player decaying down through Diamond 1 when Diamond 1 players don't have that. I don't know. That's a bit messy for me, so I'm not 100% sure there. We're also going the brand new banners, as we mentioned. So this is the new look to the borders. So find your one and see if you like it. So my one would be there on average, but I'm hoping it's that one this season. So they look quite good. I like it. They don't look bad at all. I'm not sure. Sometimes they have like your past season rank in here, like just showing that, oh, you were Diamond last season as well, but I'm not sure they're doing it. But anyway, we're laying the groundwork for the new challenges feature, which will arrive later this year. You'll see some visual updates to your ranked identity and game lobby starting this patch. So there's that. Ranked armor has transformed into ranked crests. Check out your ranked fresh look for your profile, rank page, game lobby, and friends list. Rank quests also have ambient magic. Don't know what that means. And then loading screen borders have been updated to match the rank crests. Can't speak English. And several parts of the game lobby UI have been rearranged for clarity. That's good. But in clash mode, bug fixes a few. Ooh, what's that one? Behavioral systems, the intentional feeding detection has been improved to evaluate more variables and will go live to all regions this patch. That's quite big, and they've kind of hid that a little bit. So that's quite a big change. If you're an Inter, you're going to be detected more. Lovely. And then we have two new skins, and that is that. So that is the start to this season 12. I'm really excited. Like, I genuinely am. So I'm hoping for a really good start to my placements. You know, when I say that, I will take 5-5, 5 wins, 5 losses. That's actually okay with me. It has gone better sometimes. It's gone worse. And I'm hoping, what my hope is we're in January. The season's going to start on the 7th. 100% I just want to get to Diamond in January. I've done it sometimes really quick. Sometimes I've done it in a week. Sometimes I've done it in 2 weeks. Last season I did it not that fast. I did it early. Like, I tried to do it, didn't happen, got really tilted on the Huzzy account, stopped playing on the Huzzy account for a solid, 6 months, and then got Diamond when I returned to the Huzzy account. Even though I hit Diamond 2 on EU West on a different account earlier in the season. It's a bit weird, isn't it? But anyway, that's going to be it. Let me know what you think down below of the starting patch to League of Legends Season 2022, or Patch 12, whatever you want to say. Especially let me know what you think of the teleport change. I think people will have a lot of opinions about it. Again, I do think it's a good thing overall. It's going to bring back more individual skill to League, and I do think that's been something that has been missing and has been deteriorating in the last couple of years. But that's going to be it. If you guys enjoyed, do throw a like on it, throw a comment, throw a subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace. Restore our Gloria to live forever. Bring down the dark regime.